Yo, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. It is the Cinepop Podcast. It is season 2 for us. And you know, I'm not in here by myself. It's your boy Garner. And we are back at it again. I got my host.
Hey, 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 y'all. It is me, the one and only Sharita, the happy teacher. Happy to be back in the studio with my good friend, my good brother, and my
Woo, woo,
co
woo, woo,
host.
woo, woo. Hey, it is a pleasure. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, we have a very special show for you. This is our first, after COVID, I guess it's our first day back.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been quite interesting. And so this show is like getting back to normal kind of thing. So we have a very interesting show, but a good show, say the least. And you know how we work. We are here to ensure that you, teacher, you are the best inside the classroom at all times. Hey, so how have you been?
I've been wonderful. I've been wonderful. Thanks for asking. How about you?
Uh, Clearly partly cloudy, scattered thunderstorms here and there, but hey, I got an umbrella, so I'm good.
And the sun comes back out,
Yes,
right?
it does.
Okay.
Absolutely. So,
Good.
as we try to get back to normal, one of the things that I've been focusing in my class with is pretty much their mental state of mind, and but also for teacher state of mind. What are some of the things that you've been doing to kind of motivate your students? Or help motivate them to just continue, because this is third 9 weeks, when like this second half,
Hmm.
and their
Halfway through
energy,
the second half.
right, and their energy kind of just starts dipping a bit. So what are some of the things or techniques you do inside the classroom?
Lucky me, lucky me, lucky me. For today is the last day of our third 9 weeks. The energy is still good.
Okay, that's what's up.
The energy is
That's
still
what's up.
good with my kids. They are still there and hanging in there. They see the big picture, right?
Mm,
They collectively
mm,
see the good picture, and I've seen friendships form between my students this year. So they've been, pretty much motivating each other and feeding off my energy.
okay.
We need energy in the classroom. Your students definitely will feed off of what you provide. They'll feed off of what they feel when they first walk in the door. And if it's off, if you're not your normal self, they go, "Hey,
Right,
you okay
right,
today?
right, right,
You
right,
seem
right.
kind of off." So it's that, and just acknowledging the fact that I see you. Y'all doing y'all thing. I see you. So actually the class that just left, I just gave them a nice little speech. Like it was.
Yeah,
Thank you.
absolutely. Yeah.
Thank y'all for taking care of your business.
Hmm.
Collectively, I have not had an issue with any of them in the class, and everybody, you just ended this 9 weeks on a high note.
Right.
So when we come back from break, let's keep that same energy.
Mm,
Let's kick it up a notch, right? As long as we are doing what we've been doing, we can finish everything that we need to do. So it's just the energy.
right. It's funny because I do some of the same thing, but uh, on their way out, I try to tell them, "Hey guys, rest,
Hmm.
get you some sleep, relax.
Hmm.
If you're in a group of friends, going off, stay safe. Don't do anything idiotic or stupid.
Have fun.
Yeah, have fun, but
Yeah.
just in a very responsible manner.
Hmm.
And when we get back, we're kicking it up another
Yeah.
notch. We're gonna have fun, and we're gonna enjoy the end of the year.
Yes.
And the other thing that as I was listening to you talk, you said acknowledge. It's funny how often students just want to be
That's it.
acknowledged. It's amazing, and we as teachers, isn't it interesting how sometimes all we want to be is acknowledged
That's
too?
it.
It's amazing. We will press on students.
Hmm.
Acknowledgement is what they want.
Hmm.
And then and this is for all our teachers out there. It's okay for you to acknowledge students, even when it seems inconvenient, if I
Hmm.
can say it that way.
Okay.
Because I found inconvenient time periods could be what in the middle of a lesson, keep might share something with you. It's like that's totally out of the norm.
Right.
Don't lose it. Don't lose your mind. It's like, oh really? Oh, man, thank you for appreciating anybody else with good news.
That's it.
Share this with me,
That's it.
because sometimes I think we get so heavy into our teaching structure
Hmm.
until we forget sometimes to say, hold up, they need to be acknowledged too.
Hmm.
But I thought that was a great point that you laid out
Yeah.
about acknowledgement. But also too, letting them know, hey, thank you.
Hmm.
We don't thank them enough.
Yeah.
My students, I kid you not, I saw some of my students in their grades, and I said, man, they're slipping in some of the other classes. So I said, some of these teachers, I'm gonna give them a call and say, hey, they're gonna be doing some of the work in my class. I say, we have some time. We're ahead, so I want them to get ahead.
Mhm.
And I asked, I said, hey guys, how many of you appreciated the time given? They were like, oh yeah, yeah, we were able to catch up. And that told me another thing is that sometimes they just want time to kind of
That's it.
they want to impress us as teachers.
Mhm.
But do we really give them time to do so?
They need things, and sometimes, no matter how much we preach, let me know. Let me know if you need something.
Right,
Let me know if you need something.
right.
Sometimes it takes us acting on things that we know that they need,
Hmm.
that they're afraid to open their
Hmm.
mouth initially to ask for, like time. You mind if I finish this? I finished my work. Do you mind if I finish this for so and
Hmm.
so's class?
Yeah.
And it makes a huge difference.
And I actually think that's sort of an adjacent way to get the motivation in your
Hmm.
class too. It's like because I allowed you to do this for that class. So now, does it help motivate for my class?
Hmm.
Well, absolutely.
Yeah.
Because now it's like, okay, he knows that, he's there for us. And when a student realizes that you've acknowledged them, you're motivating them in an adjacent fashion,
Hmm.
they're now able to say, hey, man, I like this class. And they come back, I appreciate you for all you do.
I need you passing in everybody's class,
Everybody's
not
class.
just mine.
Right.
Take it all seriously.
Right,
And
and I'm not here to just be about my
mhm.
class. Generally, I am. I'm going to teach, but I need you to be on your best behavior in your other classroom,
Mhm.
math, science, economics. You need to take care of your business there
Take
as well
care of
too.
it all
You know,
together.
and as we're talking about this, you had anything else you want to add to
Oh
that?
no,
Okay, one of the things that I'm starting to also see is that the pandemic has been interesting,
very
and some call it the pandemic, some call it the panorama,
the panini.
the panini. That's
Mhm.
another one. I've heard everything.
Mhm.
Mask on, mask off. It's been the ups and downs of it all, but the interesting part that I saw was the anxiety, and that anxiety for these students was
You
a domino effect.
Now there's been anxiety for students, and then some students is like, "Hey, it is
Is
what
what
it
it is,
is."
right?
It is what it
It is
is.
what it is. Yeah,
Oh, I
absolutely.
had COVID. I'm back.
Right, right,
So
right, right, right.
it's been on both ends of that. So as teachers, where did we stand in it?
Hmm.
How did we go about one acknowledging COVID,
Right.
trying to, I guess I don't want to say care for or care after, but get our students to understand like this is serious.
Right.
You
Right.
know,
Right.
then we weren't going about life how we normally were,
Hmm.
and you may not take it serious outside of here, but while you are here in my presence or
Right.
while you're here around your other classmates,
Hmm.
everybody gonna do the same thing.
Yeah.
We all gonna be we gonna wear our mask. We gonna wash our hands. You don't feel good, you gonna
You
tell
went to right.
somebody.
Yeah.
You gonna feel
Absolutely.
don't just come up in here and like, oh, you know.
Yeah.
So we're gonna do those things. But it was anxiety, and it is what it is.
Yeah. No.
It's
Yeah.
what it
Absolutely. Yeah.
was.
It is what it is. Yeah.
Um, so I'll let you get back to. I know you want to speak on anxiety,
No.
so I'll push that back
So,
over
no.
there.
Absolutely. I think you made some valid points because you recognize immediately that I have two entities in the class. I got a
Mhm.
group who they're trying to deal with it in some form or fashion. I got another
Mhm.
group. It is what it is. I
Mhm.
just wear my mask and I get through my day. And I think that speaks volumes to a teacher who's able to recognize these things and not being so caught up in, okay, here's my lesson. I got to
Mhm.
get through this. So I think that's a good thing. But one of the things I wanted to bring out there to our listening audience is it says here, I looked this up through, where's the name? There it is, American Academy of Pediatrics, or healthchildren.org. And one of the things they said here is that 1 in 3 of adolescents ages 13 to 18 will experience anxiety disorder.
Mhm.
That's interesting. So they're saying for every 3 students that walk through our door, at least one
Mhm.
of those 3 has been dealing with anxiety and depression in some form or fashion. And the kicker is this: it says, how did we get here for these teenagers? It said here, high expectations and pressure
Number one
to succeed. Number two, a world that feels scary and threatening. Number three, the kicker, social media.
should be a tie with number one. I think that holds more weight with these
It's
kids.
like a gift and a curse, you
Yeah,
know?
and they are so wrapped up with social media as reality, and we all know that it is not.
Right,
Um, and they're stuck on everything that they see. They want to emulate it. They think that's it. That's
right.
all. When it's like,
Hmm.
absolutely not. That's not it. And that's not all. There's more to life than what you see. Now, social media can be a great thing.
Absolutely,
I won't knock it
absolutely.
at all because I've had some great success with the way I use social media.
Right,
And as adults, um, and especially, I won't say especially teachers, but just as adults, period, everything can be used as a teaching moment.
right.
And how do we teach our students about social media and how we can use it to benefit us, how we can step away from social media, don't get so wrapped up in it where we start to feel, oh, I don't have. I'm not cute enough. I'm not handsome enough. I don't have all the
Right.
guys. I don't have
And those
all the
filters.
girls. Right, filter,
Yeah,
living life through a
filters.
filter.
Hmm.
Like, this is
Hmm.
not, what it is. What you see on here is not the type of people that
Right,
people really want to be with in real life.
right. Absolutely.
Like, everything is bought and paid for, and that's not what it is. So social media has these young people fixated on the
Right.
outside appearances, and not, you can be everything on the outside and your inside's tore up,
Yeah.
you know
Hmm.
and
And I think what you're saying too is that we see a lot of our young people doing things just for social media
attention.
attention.
Yeah.
And the thing that I also saw with social media is that they have more of a connection with people through a phone
Hmm.
than you do sometimes with people
Sitting right
physically
next to
right next to
them.
them.
You
Right.
can't communicate worth
That's
anything with the person sitting
that's wild to me.
next to you.
You know, so
Everything's a short text,
right, yes, a
emoji con.
group activity is a
Hmm.
little different because what they may not be comfortable with other peers in the classroom, and that's amazing. I think what we're saying is that as an educator, you have to find ways to bring them together in some form or fashion by way of similarities, likeness, who favorite color or who likes this particular artist, hip hop artist, and so on. So um, that I found that to be interesting, and so I'm starting to pay closer attention to my students I wouldn't say a clinical perspective, but just from a father perspective.
Hmm.
It's like as a dad, it's like I got to pay attention to what my kids are dealing with, you know. And I say that social media is a double-edged sword because if you use it properly,
Yeah.
it's great. If you're using it for education purposes, it's great.
Hmm. If
Like your
you're
cell
using it for
phone,
business,
right?
that's great.
It's great. It's a
Hmm.
tool.
Networking.
Networking,
Yeah.
it's great. But boy, if you find yourself doing it just for clicks,
Hmm.
likes,
Hmm.
that's where the rubber meets the road.
Speaking of doing it for clicks and likes, this morning on my way to work, I was listening to the Breakfast Club, and
Ooh.
Charlemagne does the donkey of the day, and it was a, well, I can't think of the people's name that it was on, Juicy and somebody, I don't know, but their social media. So what they did was posted a video. I want to say it was on Instagram, and it was a challenge to stay at up in the business somewhere for 24 hours, without. And so they were in Target. Target is closed and all this, so they are making a video, live video, showing them in Target. Target
Mhm.
is closed. They're walking around and all of this, and they were supposed to be there for this amount of time,
Right,
right?
right.
So how they ended up on Donkey of the Day was because they left at like 3 something through
Mhm.
an emergency exit, which tripped the alarm, and the police were called. Police get there, search the store, they can't find anybody. And
Interesting.
so when they rolled back the security
Tape.
tape, they could see them in there just walking. They didn't steal anything, so they had made a like a fort in there and said they were just in there, making a video for their followers, and said they left at like 3 something and then came back at like 8 o'clock
Wow.
to start the video back to make it look like they had been in there
Right.
all that time. It's just stupid stuff that could have ended very
Very bad.
badly.
Very bad.
That could have, just for clicks and
And likes.
likes,
Yep. Hmm.
right? Just
Yep.
for clicks and likes.
Yeah, and I've seen it quite. I've seen it quite a few times. Is where I was in Walmart, walking down the aisle, and you see the phone on the shelf, and they're doing whatever.
TikTok video.
Right, TikTok video, right? And so, and it's amazing if we went through it. I remember when Facebook was fresh and new, and then YouTube was fresh and new, and then there came along. I think it was Snapchat.
Yeah.
Snapchat was a hotbed for adolescents. Then
Hmm.
it changed from Snapchat. Pinterest was never really a teenage thing,
No, it wasn't.
right? But then now TikTok has come along and obliterated. I mean, it's like to me it reminds me of the early days of what YouTube was, with small videos, or I forgot about Vine. You remember Vine?
Oh,
Do
forgot
it,
all about
do it for the
mine.
Vine. Do it for the Vine. I
Vine
ain't gonna
came
do
in
it.
and came out. I never had a Vine account. I don't
Not
have
me,
a
me neither.
TikTok account. None of that stuff. I'm very cautious actually of the things that I do post.
Hmm.
I'm cautious of the things that I share in
Right,
terms of I can look at it, see it, laugh at it,
right, right.
but it can have some profanity in it. I'm not going to reshare that for the public to see. My pastor follows me. I'll screenshot it and send it, but I'm just very conscious of that, and I think kids are not conscious about the things that they're doing, and therefore,
Yeah.
I don't even want to say they don't care. They just may not be aware of how things can follow them.
Right, right.
You know,
Hmm.
you can put something out there, one screenshot, and you
Hmm.
want to go and delete it.
Yeah,
You deleted it, but somebody got this screenshot. Somebody had,
yeah. I
you
I
can't do
had
anything about that.
to your point. I had to explain to a student. I said, you can't call Google and tell Google, hey, I need y'all to delete this picture
Mm,
from server. I said, the wealthy has the ability to say, hey, Google, how much is it going to
but
cost?
it may not even be to leave it all away.
No, absolutely. I say,
Hmm.
so you might think you removed it, but it's still there. But I think what you're talking about, I try to tell my students is that you got to learn to see the forest for the trees, because if the trees in front of you is blocking that beautiful forest behind, in other words, don't get so caught up in the now.
Hmm.
You got to prepare for your future. So
Hmm.
what you're putting out here now, you don't know how this could double back, and in your future, you're like, aren't you? Aren't you Miss Hot Thing 101 or something?
I had a
I'm just saying. And ladies and gentlemen, that's not nobody's hashtag or anything. I just threw that out there.
but use an example.
Right. It's an example.
But I've had former students that I still keep in contact with because they know if they need something, yeah, just hit me up. I know people.
Yeah.
Um, if you need something, just reach out to me and I'll try to get you where you need to go or whatever.
Hmm.
And some things that I tell them, especially if they're looking for jobs and looking
Hmm.
to move, what does your social media look like?
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely.
What does it look like? Go back
Yeah.
before you hit submit.
Absolutely.
Go
Yeah.
back, scrub. Okay, just go
Absolutely.
back through and
Hmm.
scrub. And some things are just harmless. They're funny, but you still have to think about. I know it's funny,
Hmm.
right? But this person that could be the person you need to get to where you need to go
Right.
because they're so professional, they may not see, you
Right.
know,
Hmm.
that funny, and it's appreciated.
Hmm.
It's appreciated. People won't tell. People can know stuff and won't tell you.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And I think also what you're talking about too is that the repetitive of doing this over and over again,
Mm.
it becomes part of your psyche and your norm. And I think this is where the crux, where students find themselves in the world of anxiety, because you've done it so often, and when you don't, the first time you did it, you You got all the clicks and likes on it. But then over time,
Don't nobody like me no more. Ain't
don't know,
nobody paying attention.
right?
People are paying attention. They paying
Yeah,
attention, but they don't have to press a button. And that
absolutely.
because they're not pressing that button to say I like this, I love
Right.
this.
hmm
Okay, if they don't, that's how you should feel. Okay.
No, absolutely. So because we're talking about anxiety and depression, so here's some of the things that I want to help parents and teachers with some things to help you notice and pay attention to with your students. So be aware of these anxiety signs, reoccurring fears and worries.
Hmm.
All right, changes in behavior, avoiding activities, school and social interactions if they don't want to do it, and sometimes we see a lot of those. Dropping of the grades, right? Trouble sleeping or concentrating, substance abuse or risky behavior, and then chronic physical complaints such as fatigue, headaches. So one of the things that I've tried to do, and we learned this part of restorative practice. You
Hmm.
remember that?
Hmm.
Remember
I
that?
hadn't heard much about restorative practice
hmm
here
Restorative,
anyway.
right? Restorative practice was these tools to
Hmm.
help us attack anxiety and really get to know what our students are going through. And it helps you kind of formulate a relationship with the student. So I went back to restorative practices,
Hmm.
but instead of circle group, it was more about, hey guys, all right, listen, here's what I got. I got a warm up for you today. It's about a Barcelona pavilion that was designed and built in such time period. Here's some questions. Once you're done, we're gonna have a conversation.
Hmm.
And I found these to be opportunities where I can kind of gain an understanding where they're at. So my question to you is, what have been some of the tools that you stick to when we talk about like restorative practices that we haven't, that if you're still doing it, what have you maintained from restorative practices?
I have continued to be just who I am
Okay.
in the classroom. My personality, the energy, the connection. I understand it starts from day one.
hmm
That will never change. I don't wait until a few weeks in, a month or so in. Start out number one, day one. I don't care about all this other stuff right now because we're going to get to it. It's the initial, it's like the initial impression.
Okay.
When they meet me, I'm not worried about them, but when they meet me, who are they meeting?
Right.
Are they meeting someone true and genuine that like really cares, or are they meeting somebody who, okay, they coming to work? It's my teacher for this class for this
Right.
whole school year.
Right.
What are you getting? My kid's gonna meet the same. Every last one of them meeting the same person. I'm not this type of person, this person or that person. Everybody's meeting the
hmm
same person, right?
hmm
When I come into any relationship, students, colleagues, anybody, but specifically for my students, I'm going to give to them what I would desire someone to give to my kids,
Okay.
right?
Right.
I want someone who cares, genuinely cares. They don't have any ulterior motives or anything like that. They care. You know what? I like that lady.
Yeah.
Like
hmm
she legit. She care about me as a whole,
hmm
not just whether or not I'm gonna pass her class, but me as she's interested. She's asking me questions about who I am.
hmm So I think what I'm hearing you state is that my approach is maintain humility, that they're human beings just
Hmm.
like I am. They deserve respect as much as I do.
Absolutely.
But I want them to know that I'm genuine.
Hmm.
And it's not always going to be bells and whistles.
Hmm.
Sometimes it's going to be some harsh days. And sometimes there are going to be days where I got to correct you.
And then I'm glad you used that term correction because when I say I'm correcting you out of love,
Right.
right?
Yeah,
And they
absolutely.
can receive it.
Yes, absolutely.
I.e., a student came in. She doesn't want to do anything in the healthcare field. What she wants to do, the business that she wants to have,
hmm
everything, pretty much everything that we've covered in
It's
class
adjacent.
is adjacent to what she wants
Right.
to
Oh,
be.
why did I know that?
Listen, I've been motivating her since day one. Hey, come on, come on.
Yeah.
Something I tell all my students: the moment I stop fussing at you, I don't care.
Yeah.
Right?
hmm hmm
If you
hmm
see, if a teacher uses enough energy to fuss at you and to stay on you. Come on, come
Hmm.
on, come on. Come on.
They see
They
some potential
they
in
see
you.
some potential, and that's exactly.
Right.
Hey, I see it.
Hmm.
Do you see it? And that was a question I asked her. Actually, do you believe in you?
Right. Right. Right.
Do you and they
Right.
shake? No, no, no. Do you
Hmm.
100% believe in you and your potential, your capabilities?
Absolutely.
And sometimes you can just see like the life just. All right, well, look up. Let
Yeah.
me tell you some things.
Hmm.
Like in those intimate moments to connect when it's just you and that student, because there's nobody else around for them that try to put on, put on for.
Hmm.
They're not. You're not singling them out in front. It's a conversation. Hey, we right here.
Right.
Look at me.
Absolutely. Yes.
Look at me.
Hmm.
Let's talk.
Hmm.
Right? Do you have support you need at home?
Yep.
What
Go ahead. Go ahead. I don't want to cut you
what
off.
kind of friends are you around?
Right.
Right?
Absolutely.
You
Absolutely.
can have people in your circle. They might be cutting up with you, but they doing their work.
Yes. 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 And that happens a lot.
Right? While
That
you
happens a
you
lot.
cutting up and not doing your
Hmm.
work,
They over
they
there taking
cutting
care of
up and they
business.
doing their work.
They taking care of business.
Right?
Hmm.
So it's that, and so she and I just had a conversation a couple of weeks ago, and I've seen a difference in her attempt, her being there and engaging, even her just having fun and talking with her
Hmm.
classmates. And so I was messing with her, and I said, I get on your nerves, don't you? Don't I? Miss Summer, get on your nerves. She was like, no, no, no. I said, you can't say. She was like, no. She said that I know that your intentions are good.
Right. Hmm.
What she said? She said, I
Man,
know that your intentions are good.
that's huge. That is so huge because I think a lot of times, for sure, my past students, conversations I've had with them, they have stated to me, it's like some of my teachers don't care,
Mhm.
and I think we could argue that is the first thing that new teachers need to understand. Is going into this classroom, you're looking at sometimes 25 to 30 different households.
Mhm.
And a lot of times, a lot of these kids, their household, they may not feel like no one cares.
Mhm.
But when they come see you and you show them that you care, can change the projection
Mhm.
of their entire life.
Absolutely.
And when I figured this out, or when I understood this, I realized how much power I had in the classroom. And I don't want to use that word power because that can be some
How about
teachers.
influence?
Thank you.
How about,
Think
how about
influence is
influence?
much
Yeah.
better. Yeah, I like that. And giving showing students, like I literally had this one happen today. Student was talking to me. He was like, "I'm really into stuff like development and stuff."
Mhm.
I said, "Development?" So it's sort of like urban planning. And he said, "Yeah, like developing like creating areas for opportunity zones where it's walker pedestrian friendly,
Mhm.
bike friendly, parks, recreation pavilions." I said, "Man, I didn't know that." I said, "Here we are, we in like the third leg, and you're just now telling me this." And literally this morning we went. I say, "Here's what I'm gonna just show you. Here's how you find out opportunity zones." He's like, "Oh, really?" I said, "Mm-hmm." I said, "Then you'll find out any city they actually have the city planners."
How much time did that take out of your day to do that?
That took maybe 10 minutes.
Right.
And I said, if you pay close attention, you saying, okay, who decided that we ought to have this ice cream or this
Mhm.
store over here? Well, that was probably planned by the city planning, maybe 15 years ago,
Mhm.
15, 20 years ago, and right now you're just seeing it happen.
Yeah.
But to your point, that was a moment I had literally had this morning with one of my students. So we can be influential from that perspective,
Mhm.
and I think that helps with students and their anxiety and part of their depression, feeling like "woe is me."
Mhm.
But then now I truly believe I've changed the projection of how he felt about
Yeah.
architecture.
Cause you could have blew him off.
Really, I could
Like
have.
you really could
Really, I could
have
have.
blew him off.
Right,
And
absolutely.
the pandemic has it's done a number
Yes, it
on
is.
people. My whole thought process through the pandemic has been just live.
Hmm.
just continue to live your life.
Right.
Um, and you control what as much as you can control. Control it,
Right. That's yeah. That's
right?
all you can do.
As much as you can do. But some of our kids, the pandemic caused them to go from being the child to the provider,
Mhm.
right? From the
Mhm.
child to the provider, and and during that time period, they still had to go to school, and for some, school became
Secondary.
secondary
Yep. Mhm.
to that, not
Yep.
by choice for some, but for by force.
Mhm.
They had to do that, and so I don't think people. I'm never going to say all, but some people did not take that into consideration.
Oh, absolutely.
Educators did not
Absolutely.
take that
Absolutely.
into
Mhm.
consideration. So when you got kids in class sleeping, tired, energy, just
Yeah, because they're working.
instead of fussing at them, like,
Mhm.
hey, you good? I noticed that you are. It's come in, you're tired all the time. What's going
Yeah,
on?
I recognize. I asked two of my students, who I know for sure they had jobs.
Hmm.
I asked, I say, "What time do you typically get off?" He say, "About 12:30
Hmm.
a.m." He's like, "Yeah."
Hmm.
So when do you have time to do homework?
I
He
don't,
said,
or
"I
get
don't."
up. Or
Yeah,
I had a student getting off at 10 o'clock, come home, I shower, I get into bed. Well, when you have
yeah,
time, I try to wake up about 4 o'clock,
yeah.
knock out what I can knock out, and
He
then
said
come to
we.
school. Like that's not healthy.
They were like, "We get up so early,
Yeah.
but they're working so late." And
Hmm.
to your point, all of this adds on to it. And one of the things that I wanted to share with our listening audience, and as we get closer to closing out this session here, is that some of the natural remedies for anxiety and stress is exercise.
Hmm.
And share. Find you maybe an accountability partner.
Hmm.
I know when we get back from the break, that's one of the things that I'm gonna just kind of start off with. Is like, hey, for some of you all who are dealing with some stuff, find you someone you can confidently talk to, and exercise. Take a walk. You and I talked about this a while back. Meditation.
Hmm.
Sitting in class, just quiet, having
Right.
serene music in
Hmm.
the background while you're
Getting
mentally
in
just
tune with your own thoughts.
absolutely in tune with your own thoughts. Relaxation exercise, and then here's the other one I've shared with students in the past. For sure, anytime I have young ladies, I always say, because fellas, we don't too much care for writing,
Hmm.
but I tell ladies, keep a journal.
Yeah.
I say journals turn into books.
Hmm.
Later in your life, it's like how you overcame your life experience. And so,
Shameless plug.
right,
I'm working on the journal.
and
Yeah.
it's crazy
Shameless
because
plug.
I was about to say,
Yeah.
go ahead and drop your plug in here because this is
Yes.
perfect timing for it. So go
So,
ahead.
uh, if you've been listening to us, if you know me, you know that I have a nonprofit organization. It's a mentoring program,
She a hustler.
Hugs. Hugs Unlimited, and Hugs stands for helping underserved, not underprivileged, but helping underserved girls succeed. And these past 7 years as a secondary
7 years
teacher,
gone by fast.
very fast, I've seen so much, which led me, I guess that was in year three, maybe year two, the thought of forming a mentoring program.
Hmm.
But over the last, maybe was this is March,
Hmm.
so around end of September, October, the thoughts came to mind like, what what's the next step? What can I do that will benefit not just my girls in my program, but young ladies, even women
Yeah.
as a whole? And so the project of this journal came about, and so I just have a few little finishing touches to put on it
Now make sure you drop
to
your
get it out
make sure
there.
you drop your social media
Oh,
so they
absolutely,
can visit your social media
absolutely.
now. Don't forget that.
So a few little finishing touches, about 4 or 5 proofreads through, and then it'll be submitted to be published and printed for um, ordering.
Hmm.
But yeah, write it down. Write it down. Whenever I'm looking for something else, I can find something that I wrote,
Right.
long time ago, whether it be thoughts or goals or dreams, things that have come to pass, things that I forgot about. I was like, I need to do this. So
Right. Right. Right.
it's
Right.
really it's a motivational piece from others, and then also from within. So I can't wait until it's done.
Yeah.
It's soon.
Yeah.
Soon and very soon it'll be complete.
Anticipation, man.
Yeah.
Anticipation. And like I said, writing is still one of those forms that kind of helps you. That hand to paper helps your memory to a degree. You may not know where that paper is, but
Mm,
if you keep it in a notebook or journal, you
yeah.
can always and learning to keep good log of that information.
Helps get us organized.
Yeah,
Helps to
absolutely.
get us back to normal.
Absolutely. And I also try to tell students, I said, look at it this way. We as teachers,
Mm,
our job is like a bridge. We're trying to get you from point A to point B. The teacher is the bridge,
mm-hmm.
right? But as you're walking across the bridge, you're journaling your time period across
Yeah.
to the other side. So when you hear the song, dun, 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 graduation, it's like, man, dude, this was my experience. This was cool. And you keep it up on into a college or into 2 year college or 4 year college, on into your
Mhm.
workspace. You start maintaining journal because it gives you an understanding of where you've been, how you overcame,
Mhm.
how you got over humps and bumps in the road,
Yeah.
and it helps you. It helps you to help others as well too. And I think that's the goal for human beings here on this earth is
Hey, helping others.
helping others
Yeah.
grow. And I think that's a good place to end our
Yeah.
our first show back.
Our first show back. Let's get back to normal.
Yep, get
That's
back to
it.
normal. Cinepop Podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been the Cinepop Podcast. It is your boy G, aka Garner, and I am with.
Sharita the happy teacher.
Yeah. And that's the Cinepop Podcast. Hey, we're always making sure teachers are being their best selves inside the classroom, in and outside the classroom.
In and outside the classroom. So, our goal is just to share our experiences to hopefully encourage, motivate, uplift, put an idea into your head. We love our kids.
Yep. And to the
We
parent.
call them our kids. Our student, we love them and we
Right.
love what we do. And so, uh, we are here to be a support
Right.
system,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah. And
That's
to the
it.
parents out there, trust me, every teacher is not trying to do your child in some wrong manner. We're trying to make sure that your kids are projected to be the best kids,
Yeah.
best citizens thereafter high school and beyond, on
Yes.
into college and into life. Beyond that, ladies and gentlemen, we'll see y'all next time.
You can catch me at Sharita the
Peace.
Happy Teacher on Instagram and Facebook, and on Twitter it is Miss Sharita Harmon at A Leaf Clinic Rotate. We're out here working. So thank you guys for tuning in. See you next time.
Peace. In the
Peace.
Pop Podcast, we out.